Motors convert energy into mechanical energy. Is used in a lot of road mechanisms. They are from 11 and 5.5 watts and have different configuration and have an integer encoder. Blue cartridge, the fastest cartridge, 600 RPM, used in intakers mostly. Green cartridge, 200 RPM, is a cool cartridge. Red cartridge is the slowest with 100 RPM but is the strongest. Shaft is an axle connected to the motor to transmit the rotational movement to another components. High strength shaft, the same as the shaft but stronger, usually used in torque mechanisms like lifters. Gears. Gears are circular components with teeth, designed to transmit rotational motion and torque. They do this by engaging the teeth with toes of another gear or compatible part, allowing them to rotate together in a controlled manner. Basically, it's the core of a robot construction. Sprockets. Sprockets are similar to gears, but instead of directly contacting another sprocket, they are connected using a chain. This allows them to transmit rotational motion across distances, typically in systems like intakers or conveyors. A sprocket has different configuration depending on if it's a low or high strength sprocket, having different number of teeth. Unlike gears, the low and the high strength sprocket are linked with a different side chain, making it possible to combine the high and low strength sprockets. Gear ratio. A gear ratio is the ratio of the rotational speed between two machine gears or the first and final gears in a yard train. This concept also applies to sprocket connected by a chain, where it determines the relation between the input speed and the output speed. Gear ratios can be chosen to prioritize either speed, with a large gear or sprocket driving a smaller one, or torque, with a smaller gear or sprocket driving a larger one. The gear ratio can be calculated using the following equation. Omni Wheels, wheels but with rollers, are a great wheel choice, high maneuverability but with low traction from the side. Traction wheels, wheels but without rollers, great wheel choice too, low maneuverability but with high forward and high horizontal traction. Mecanum wheels, allows robot designers to create drivetrains capable of moving in any direction using a standard chassis shape. Simply power each wheel with a different motor and change the direction they will spin to get your robot to move in different directions. Flex wheels, but squishy, have a more friction and are commonly used to grab things. However, there are teams that use to make custom traction wheels. There are different variants depending on durometer. 38 durometer, similar to a soft rubber band, is the most squishy. 45A durometer, similar to a pencil eraser, is quite more solid. Finally, we have 68 durometer, similar to a car tire. C-channel, the most commonly used type of metal in VEX. C-channels provide a stable, secure grounding for a majority of subsystems that can be used. The C-shape contains two corners which give the C-channel a strong, sturdy form, making it ideal for structural use and racing. There are different variations of C-channel in terms of their width. 2-hole wide is small, ideal to conserve space and weight, and is the most used C-channel variation. 3-hole wide, good for saving space and weight and give more room than the 2-hole wide variation. 5-hole width, the largest, ideal for making the road heavier but use more space. Also, you can use another type of metal structure for your road construction like the U-channel, also cutting C-channel from the mirror to get custom angles, and regular angle bars or metal plates. Gussets are smaller metal pieces used to mount structural components. Angle gussets mount main structural components at an angle to each other. Coupler gussets provide ability to mount structure concurrent with existing components. Brackets are not common, can be helpful if you cut the brackets and converting them into custom metal components. Hinge. A hinge is a mechanical bearing that connects two solid objects, typically allowing only a limited angle of rotation between them. Basically, the thing that makes the door works. Shaft collars. Shaft collar lock to drive shaft, keeping wheels and gears from sliding along the shaft. Collars fit around drive shaft and can be fastened in place using a hex or start drive set screw. There are two variants: the low strength shaft collar, used for the low strength shaft, and also we have the high strength shaft collars used for the high strength shaft. Bearings. Use bearings to reduce friction and keep your mechanisms and wheels moving smoothly. Basically, you need to put the bearing where a shaft or screw will spin. There are different variants. Basically, for the low strain shaft, you need to use the low strain bearings, and then if you want to use a high strain shaft, you need to use another type of bearings. There are another type of bearing called pedal block bearing. These bearings are mounted in a piece of structure and supports a shaft which is offset either above or below the other side of the structure. As the normal bearings, there are low and high strain versions of the pedal block. Ball bearings. The purpose of ball bearing is to reduce rotational friction and support radial and axial loads. The main cause is that you need to have room to put these ball bearings, but it's great in intakers and flywheel mechanisms. One disadvantage is that they are expensive. Shaft adapters. There are different versions of shaft adapters. You can use a square shaft adapter to use a low strain shaft in the high strain sprocket or G-rings, or you can use a round shaft adapter for spinning low strain shaft or screws, making the spinning smoothly. Also, you can use the old shaft insert kit. High strain shaft bushing. Add the bushing inserts for spinning high strain shaft to make the spinning smoothly.
Pneumatics. You use air to move things. In VEX, you can control the air using solenoids and pneumatic cylinders. The way you keep the air is using tank airs. The limit is 100 PCAs.
Single acting cylinder is a cylinder that you use air just to extend the cylinder. When you quit the air, a spring will retract the cylinder to the initial position. It's useful because you don't waste air when you want to retract, and you can increase the returning using rubber bands. To use a single acting cylinder, you need to use a single acting solenoid. Double acting cylinder is a cylinder that you need to send air to retract and extend the cylinder. It is stronger and faster than the single acting, but you need to use the double of air. Also, to control the double acting cylinder, you need to use a double acting solenoid. Plastics. In VEX, you can use custom made plastic parts. If you are computing BRC, all your parts must fit within a 12 by 24 inch sheet, up to 0.07 inch thick. However, in VEX-U, there are no size limit for plastic parts. The legal plastic types include polycarbonate, acetyl homopolymer, acetyl copolymer, ABS, nylon, among others. You can manufacture these plastic parts using tools such as Dremel, hack, saw, drill, or through processes like cutting or bending. 3D pieces. In VEX-U, you can design and print 3D pieces to create complex parts. This technology allows for rapid prototyping and offers great flexibility in design. The most common 3D printing filament is PLA, which is known for being strong and durable. Fasteners. To assemble all the components mentioned in this video, you should use fasteners like screws, washer, and nuts. Screws basically hold your robot together. The screws have different lengths and thread size. 632 and 832. They are from Star Drive and also Hex Drive. Shoulder screws improve build quality and reduce frustration. These Star Drive shoulder screws are perfectly sized to snugly fit the holes in the VEX metal and reduces love in the screw connection, allowing you to build straight and square structures easily the first time. Great for VEX beginner and pros alike. Available with different shoulder lengths to perfect the thickness of a number of aluminum and steel structure pieces. Nylon screws. Nylon screws are a great addition to any robot. Weighing about 1/6 the weight of the steel screws, nylon fasteners allow you to save weight for a more efficient robot. Nuts. Tips nuts have an external tool lock washer and are strong while still being removable. Nylon nuts have an internal nylon locks that make it perfect for strong and permanent connection. You may notice that in order to screw something using nylock, you need to block in some way the nylock nut. You can use a mount and plastic retainer in order to block the nylock and screw something more easy. Nylon nut. Basically, you're using a nail screw, you need to use a nylon nut. Spacers. Spacers are used to create a space between two objects, often to properly position them. Available in various lengths. Click-on spacer is a special type of spacer. To put the click-on spacer, basically just need to press the click-on spacer to the shaft or screw. There are also spacers for high-strength shafts. So for example, if you're using a high-strength shaft, you need to use that spacers. Standoffs. A standoff is used as a mechanism to separate two parts from another while creating a rigid connection. Zip ties. Do you need to hold something like wires, bearings, or structures? Just use the zip ties. Finally, to buy different VEX components, I recommend you to take a look to the VEX store and also RoboSource. RoboSource sells robotics parts, tools, and more at low prices. I will lay you a link below in the description.